This video is brought to you by Squarespace. I dug into the game files of Super Mario Maker 2 and found lots of interesting unused content, going from leftover sound effects to even unused 3D models. We'll take a look at all of those in today's video. If you end up enjoying the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing as it helps me out a lot. Now let's take a look. In the files of Super Mario Maker 2, we can find a lot of unused graphics. As you know, in all classic castle themes, we can find a bridge and axe at the end of the stage. Seemingly, there were plans to also have bridges in other game themes, as they can be seen in their tile sets. All of these resemble the original SMB style bridge design. In most themes of the SMB style, this sprite can be found and goes unused. Interestingly enough, in the SMB snow theme, both day and night, unique bridge sprites were created, but never actually used. These were definitely based around their theme. The SMB sky theme also has a unique sprite, as it has lost some pixels on the top and bottom left. For the NSMBU style, this sprite can be found in most themes, which is the same sprite we saw for the SMB style. However, in the night, ground, desert and underwater themes, this sprite can be found, which looks a tiny bit different from the previous one we saw, being a bit darker and having a more thick outline on the left. In the Super Mario World style, this sprite can be seen in most themes. For the airship theme though, another sprite was once created, which looks the most different out of them all. And finally, for the SMB3 style, this sprite can be found in most themed tile sets, which is the same as the Super Mario World one. In the NSMBU and 3D World styles, once a player grabs a flagpole, a character-specific flag will pop up. Now in the game, there is only one more game style as these flagpoles, the SMB style. But whenever a player touches the goal pole here, a character-specific flag doesn't pop up. Nintendo once had the idea to implement this feature in the SMB style as well, because these unique character flags can be found in the files, specifically made for this game style. All of them have a pretty cool design if you ask me. In one of the SMM2 updates, P-blocks were added to the game. These are obviously yellow colored, but in the game files a dark colored P-block can be found. It's also interesting to see that the empty P-block has a different appearance from the one in game. These dark variants of the sprite can also only be found in the night underwater tile set of the SMB style. Nintendo must have once had plans to put clear pipes from 3D World into the classic styles. Proof for this can be found in the Super Mario World Forest style set. In here we can find these, most likely unfinished, designs for the pipes. Using a glitch, it's actually possible to use these clear pipes in-game. The Super Mario World design only works when it's placed horizontally. There are also no separate animations when traveling through. This leads me to believe that they were scrapped pretty early into development. In SMM2's latest major update, the P-Balloon was added to the game. One day there were plans to make it possible to wear helmets as P Mario, as there can be found some interesting sprites in the game files which were specifically created for that purpose. These sprites are definitely based on the Buzzy and Spiny helmets. The Buzzy variant has two designs, one of them is colored in, while the other isn't. The Spiny variant has three designs. The first one is colored in, the second one isn't and the spikes look a bit different. The third one is colored in, also has different spikes and has the letter P in the middle. By using another glitch, it's possible to use two of these 5 designs in game. The designs that are used are the non-colored ones. When applied, they also are a bit stretched out. Besides giving you an extra hit, none of the other helmet features still work. The last unused graphics that can be found in the files are these weird squares in the Super Mario World tile sets. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, maybe it's even mistakenly left there by Nintendo. Next to the 2D graphics we took a look at, there are also 4 unused 3D models left over in the game files. First of all, there is an unused Ferris wheel. This one looks pretty cool and would have most likely been a background model in the airship theme based on its name in the files. This model has a clown car face in the middle, 9 spiked cabins, and some purple and yellow lights. The design is probably based on this design in the final boss level of Super Mario 3D World, which looks quite similar. Here is a quick look at what the Ferris wheel could have looked like in the background. Another unused model is one for the snake block. The normal snake blocks are green and blue, but the unused one seemingly would have been brown colored. This might have been based on the original Super Mario World snake blocks, which were also brown. Who knows? Either way, it goes unused. Donut blocks also have an unused and untextured model. It's not only untextured, but it also has a different shape, which looks more like the shape from the 2D game styles. This model is actually the same model that is used in the original Super Mario 3D World game too. In SMM2 they look a bit more blocky, while the unused ones are a bit more rounded on the bottom. The last unused model in Mario Maker 2 is one for the cloud blocks. This model has no texture either. The design is a bit wider than the final version from the front, and from the side you can see that there are 2 clouds sticking together, which is pretty weird. Besides unused graphics and models, there are also unused textures in Super Mario Maker 2. These all apply to the Mii costumes unlockable in the game. And yes, I know I have drip. Let's first take a look at the parent and child skirt. On this skirt, an animation can be seen where two blooper nannies move up and down in a loop which contains 16 frames. There is an unused 17th frame, which only has one blooper nanny and a bit of a darker shadow too. In the files of the skull skirt, there is an early version of the pipe skirt that can be found and is unused. Here is a comparison between the early and final design. Obviously, the early texture was far from being finished. The chomp dog shirt plays an animation of two chain chomps playing around. Another version of this shirt totally removes those chomps, leaving just a yellow t-shirt. The texture of the slobbery shirt contains Bowser Jr.'s texture, which isn't used on the shirt itself. It only shows off Bowser Jr.'s scarf. An early version of the Shy Cap can be found in the files as well. This one has a wireframe template, no arms, no tail and no face. It also has a bigger mouth than the final design. Finally, for the Yoshi hat, there is one unused nostril texture. These nostrils are a bit smaller than the ones used on the final hat. In Super Mario Maker 2, some unused sounds can be spotted too. These include both leftovers from Mario Maker 1, as well as some new ones. Let's have a listen to the leftovers first.
Wings, wings.
This sound was used in Mario Maker 1 whenever you place down wings. This doesn't play anymore in SMM2 as you now hold down an object to give it wings. This sound played in Mario Maker 1 while pressing up when certain costumes were worn by the player, so maybe Nintendo planned on adding the mystery mushroom to SMM2 as well. Another leftover sound pretty much confirms that.
Mystery mushroom, mystery mushroom.
This was a sound in Mario Maker 1 when placing down a mystery mushroom. This sound originally comes from New Super Mario Bros. 2 when Mario uses the gold flower. It was also used in SMM1 on both the gold and silver costume. So this might be proof that Nintendo wanted to add the gold flower to the game and maybe even an SMB2 game style, although it's probably just more proof for the mystery mushroom. These sounds were played when jumping as Lanky Mario, so Nintendo eventually decided to scrap Lanky from SMM2. Well, actually he is in the game. If you knock on a door, he opens up in multiple different poses and costumes. Unfortunately, he isn't playable. There is also one sound effect found in story mode, which cannot be used when building a level yourself, the dizzy sound effect. This is also something that originally comes from SMM1. These are two sounds that are used for the flipboards in Super Mario 3D World. Apparently Nintendo had plans to add these flipboards, but ultimately decided not to put them in. I think that would have been cool to see in the game though. By using Squarespace, you can create professional websites and online stores in a very user-friendly way. It's the best all-in-one platform to run your business while also having a great online presence. You don't have to worry on how to start, because there are loads of custom templates you can choose from. These can also be completely customized to create a cool personalized website. Next to that, you can embed videos from third-party hosts like YouTube on your own website. As you can see, I placed one of my own older videos on my website. This can come in very handy. You can also monetize your website with members-only content using member areas. Here, you can sell access to gated content like videos and online courses. You can even choose to charge a one-time fee or a recurring fee and see what fits best. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and once your website is done, go to squarespace.com/smashy to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. In the files of the game, lists that contain the names of all the course parts can be found. Some of them don't exist in the game, which means they were eventually removed by Nintendo. First of all, we have the Noko Noko shell, or Koopa shell. This would have most likely been an empty shell that could be placed down. Secondly, shoes and queen shoes can be found, which refer to the Goomba shoe and stiletto. These would have presumably been empty shoes and stilettos which cannot be placed down in SMM2. They always contain a Goomba. The stone is listed as well, but as we all know, the item is story mode exclusive. Builder box can be seen on the list as well. This would have likely been a builder box that could be placed down in the level. Obviously that's only possible by playing as Builder Mario right now. A label with the name Fireball is on the list too. This could have possibly been a fireball that the builder could place down anywhere in the level. Maybe it could have been placeable Bowser Fire or something. Yoshi and Yoshi Red can also be spotted on the list. These don't refer to the green or red Yoshi eggs as they have other names in the game files. So it might have been possible to place down Yoshis outside of their eggs in the course maker. Lastly, we have the label shell. This doesn't refer to any shells you might think of in Mario Maker 2 as they have other names. So maybe this would have been a totally new type of shell. I guess we'll never know. In the files containing all the clear conditions, two different versions of the Toad Rescue clear condition can be found. One is labeled 01, which reads, reach a goal with all numbered toads in tow. And the other one is labeled 03, which states, reach a goal with numbered toads in tow. As there is a label 01 and 03, there probably used to be a 02 as well. This would have most likely said, reach the goal with at least number toads in tow, deriving it from the other sets of clear conditions. For all the courses that can be found in the game files, being levels from story mode, Yamamura's dojo and the title screen, modification dates can be seen, which of course all predate SMM2's release. Let's take a look at some examples. The story mode level A Downhill Battle was finished the 18th of March 2019 at 5:43 PM. Yes, even the hour and minutes are stated in the files. We also have the story mode level Banzai Build Chase Scene, which was last modified April 11th, 2019 at 9:27 PM, which is roughly 2.5 months before SMM2 released. Pretty cool to take a look at. Doing the glitch we used for clear pipes in Super Mario World, it's possible to smuggle lots of other 3D items into 2D styles and the other way around. We'll take a look at some of the most interesting ones, but if you want to see them all, I suggest you watch these videos as they go into more detail. The links will be down below. Most smuggled items don't have any texture or model and are completely invisible, but there are a few exceptions, like the spiny shellmet. Sadly, it can be worn. The dry bone shells model is a T-posing dry bones. It's possible to get inside, which makes Mario hop around like the shell usually does. However, trying to play dead is a bad idea as it makes you stuck forever. Vines have a texture too, but not as you might expect. They just look like this. Trying to climb them makes the game crash. Some untextured items that still work are skewers, bumpers, saws, clown cars, and Goomba shoes. By smuggling the moon into 3D world, we can also make the night theme effects work. Most themes work as expected, however, there is no wind in the desert theme, the underground theme isn't upside down, only the controls are, and in the underwater and ghost house themes, the level is completely dark. Something cool that works too is poison, however, it still looks like water. From 3D to 2D, we can smuggle items like the super hammer. It doesn't have a texture, but Mario can still use an invisible hammer to break blocks. Warp boxes can be smuggled as well, but entering one softlocks the game. Dash blocks are invisible, but also in the 2D styles, they make Mario go pretty fast. Some other items that work in the 2D styles are trees, track blocks, and spike blocks. The fact that most smuggled items still function in other styles, and some even have textures, Nintendo might have once played around with the idea of actually putting them in all the game styles. With the smuggle glitch, we can use a seesaw in the 3D world style to weigh enemies and items that normally can't be weighed. Crates and power-ups all have a weight of 1 unit. This is also the case for Ant Troopers and Skipsqueaks. Their big variants all weigh 2 units. A Hop Chop weighs 1 unit, while his big version has a weight of 2 units as well. All small bosses weigh 1 unit, while their big variations weigh 2 units. A Koopa Troopa car only weighs 1 unit, which doesn't change when Mario rides it. And finally, a Bully weighs 2 units, with its big variant weighing double, so 4 units. If we compare SMM2's trailers with the final product, there were quite a lot of changes done by Nintendo. Let's quickly take a look at the most noticeable ones. In the SMW style, twisters used to look very different, and to be honest, I like the final version more. This is also the case for the NSMBU style. The Super Bell is colored differently, being a bit more dark yellow than the final version. The tank coin used to look like a normal coin, with the number 10 written on it. The icon for the ground theme looks a bit different from the final version, and it's actually the same one used for Mario Maker 1. The icon for the underground theme used to be very different too, looking way simpler than what Nintendo ended up using. The snow theme icon looks a bit different too, and the same can be said about the underwater theme icon. There is a slight difference in the icon to switch between course parts and sound effects. The frog smile looks a bit different. The icon for clear conditions used to have another design too. The icon for the shopping cart used to be white rather than black. A small change can be seen for the magnifying glass, as the handle used to be blue instead of yellow. The pop-up menu to modify enemies used to be quite distinct too. The item select menu used to be transparent rather than being fully colored in. In the 3D world style, there even used to be some different icons for enemies and items, which were probably used as placeholders at the time. The ground tiles for the 3D world airship theme used to be green and blue instead of red. And one of the most noticeable changes is the color change for the SMB3 underground theme, which used to be brown or orange. There are a lot more beta changes done by Nintendo noticeable in all the trailers, but it would take way too long to go over all of them, so I suggest you watch this awesome video by Odyssey Central, where he goes over quite literally all of the changes. There we go, we've looked at all unused content in Super Mario Maker 2. I would have loved to see some of these things in the actual game, but we'll maybe have to wait until SMM3 comes out, if it ever does. To end the video, I wanted to give you one more small fact about Mario Maker 2. The internal code name for the game is Slope, which makes sense since it's one of SMM2's biggest innovations. Thanks for watching, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you soon.